I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. I'm Tyler Riley, cop and a half.
I'm Melissa Meli, the spy.
I'm Tristan Miller, the saucy sleuth.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod and browse the unmatched selection of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It's that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod.
I'm going to make a recommendation for a book, I think, with nothing to do with what we talk about here. Let's see. Can I pull a book out of thin air?
Yeah.
One of my favorite books is actually, it's called Between the Bridge and the River. It's written by Craig Ferguson. He does the narration for it. It's available only on Audible. Oh. It's an Audible exclusive, so you might want to consider going there. Also, put in your search bar Tucker Talley Johnson. He has narrated some book I can't remember the title of, but he's a friend of the show, and you can get his lovely dulcet tones in your ear holes.
He's a wonderful performer.
Yeah, he's really, really good.
So don't dilly-dally. Search Tucker Dally Johnson.
Yeah, and it's Johnston with the... There you go.
With the...
There's a ton of Johns in...
Oh boy.
We're already here.
I stopped.
Make that sharp turn.
Ooh, she's sharp.
Instead of Googling the episode that we're watching, I Googled us.
I love you.
While you do your search.
You're on audibletrial.com/ADCpod.
Yeah, that's
You're
right.
downloading The Bridge and the River. Mm-hmm. I thought about just making a bunch of burner accounts, trying to get some of that money. Please, just do it. If not, go to our Patreon. You get exclusive stuff. You do. We put clips up there. You get early access to the episodes. I ran a promotion that no one took a part of, where you got pinback buttons and no one wanted them. My feelings were very hurt.
Well, I don't wear pins.
Well, sometimes it's just you got to do it for the Vine, Tyler.
That's fair.
Anyhow, we're talking about what?
We are talking about an episode of the 60s detective series called Peter Gunn.
So here's the thing. That title sequence started. I was like, this is where that song's from? Oh, it's wonderful. I love that theme song. It absolutely slaps.
I was watching the episode with a potential suitor.
Ooh, I hardly know her.
And they knew immediately the composer.
Oh, whoomst.
Henry something. They knew. I didn't say I knew.
Okay.
But they got it right when we saw the end credits of the episode. But we are doing this in memory of someone who inspired and still inspires me a lot. The late, great Diahann Carroll. She appears in this episode. I think was one of her earlier TV appearances. She rose to prominence for the film Carmen Jones, which was her first film and was a huge hit and huge success. It spurned the first Oscar-nominated performance of a black woman for Best Actress in Dorothy Dandridge.
Fabulous.
And Diahann Carroll herself was an Oscar nominee for the film Claudine with James Earl Jones. And she was the first African-American to win the Tony for Best Actress in a leading role for a musical for the show No Strings. I grew up with her as Marion Gilbert in the spin-off of The Cosby Show, A Different World.
Oh, okay.
And A Different World still holds up. And if you're worried about the Cosby connection, as I'm sure some people are.
Sure.
Sorry, the Cosby Connection is like a completely different show.
And also just the worst version of the Rainbow Connection that's ever happened.
Zoopity-dap.
Oh, no.
He does not make any appearance in a different world, except for a couple of times where they had to introduce a special episode. The show really was ahead of its time, and she was fantastic in a recurring role as the mother of the lead character of Whitley Gilbert.
She was also on White Collar, is that correct?
She was.
Yeah, that's where Christina knew her from. She was like, of White Collar fame. I was like, I would never know that.
She was also first season Grey's Anatomy. She was the mother of Dr. Burke.
Oh.
So she's just been...
So she got to slam down with Christina Yang, which was pretty great.
I have fallen off the Grey's Anatomy train, but I did definitely watch the first season. Yeah. Great.
And she was Dominique Devereaux on Dynasty. Which spawned many a gif. If you look it up, like, I'm sure you'll be like, "Oh my god, I've seen that before."
Yeah, of course.
So
yeah,
this show is phenomenal.
It's super short.
It's super short. It's super,
25 minutes long.
It's also like just so indicative of the time in a way that's so beautiful and just absolutely charming.
It was so against what I thought of the time. For me, this is 1960 when this episode aired. Like, this is civil rights movement bubbling up, and you have this African American actress who is not demeaned or degraded in any way on this show. She's allowed to interact, and I think, like, a white person, like, even, like, touches her at a moment.
The detective, like,
actually grabs her at a moment that I was like, maybe don't do that. But he did, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have...
He's stopping her from running away, but yes.
Yes. Right. Like, I could have very easily seen that happening with any woman and this detective, because, you know...
The titular role, Peter Gunn
himself.
It was one of those, you know, kind of get a hold of yourself kind of moments. Like,
it's very dramatic, this episode.
That was seen as okay in that time, and now I'd be like, could you not touch me? In that way, for sure. Anyway.
But I can understand what you mean, though,
Yeah.
What I was referring to is, like, the way it is shot, the way it is acted, the fact that he sounds like this, you know, all that sort of thing. Everyone has incredible diction. The owner of the club gives a beautiful, subtle performance that seems to be a caliber of, like, what are you doing here? It was amazing. It was a very fun 20 minutes.
Oh, yes, and sorry, I didn't even say the title of the episode.
Oh,
it
look
is
down at
season 2.
Look down at your podcatcher right now and read if you can. If you can't, Tyler, take it away.
Season 2, episode 23, Sing a Song of Murder.
Yeah. It's very fun. There's a lot of singing.
There is.
Very good at singing.
Good singing, too.
So, how should we begin?
Well, it begins...
with a murder.
with a funeral, doesn't it?
No, it begins...
No, it begins with the murder.
The murder, yeah.
I forgot about that.
They're on the docks, even before, like, the title credits happen. Like, 2 men are fighting on the dock.
Never go to any docks, ever.
I mean, that is where you're going to get murdered.
Yeah.
Actually, do you know what's funny? I saw that happen, and then thought it was just part of the title sequence and unconnected to the episode.
Oh, that's fun.
I love it when Tristan says, "Oh, that's fun." Like, that's a really stupid idea.
That's fun. That's very, like, it's funny. Like, it's funny adjacent. Does that make sense? It's very close to being funny, Melissa.
Right. It's just missing 2 letters.
Yeah. Missing 2/5
of being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Amazing.
So there's been a murder on the docks.
It's 2 men are fighting on the docks. One seemingly breaks free, and then, like, there's another struggle, and then he gets mollywopped upside the head and falls into the river.
So here's the thing, Tyler. If you go to urbandictionary.com and you look up mollywop, it does mean something different than the thing you just used it for.
Does it?
Yes. Don't do it live. Don't do it live.
No, it's happening.
Okay.
It has to happen.
Okay. So there's a murder, then there's the title sequence, which is amazing.
Yes.
And then
it's a funeral.
Then it's the funeral.
Yes. Which I thought was the beginning of the episode. And the funeral happens, and this detective man. Tyler is
No,
making...
it is very much what I said it was.
Okay, I've only heard it in one regard. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Where? Did you get it?
Yeah.
You found
it's
it?
like the 7th one down.
Okay. Okay. So, funeral. Sorry.
That's okay. There's a funeral. There's the detective man, and he walks over.
Peter Gunn. It's the name of this show.
Well, yeah, but we're just introducing him.
We are.
How should we know that it's Peter Gunn?
It's season 2, episode 23.
I've never seen the show before.
That's fair.
This is the first episode of this entire series I've ever seen.
Can you imagine?
Right. So he walks over to the husband of the deceased woman who is being buried. And he says, she was murdered. Can you find her? Can you find the murderer?
Can you find her? Yeah, she's right there about 6 feet down.
Yeah. Found her. Done.
Marco.
Money, please.
Money, please. Oh my God. Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
Always good. Yeah. So he says, yeah, I can do that. It's like, I just loved her so much. Great.
I need vengeance. I loved her so much, I need vengeance.
I need
And he's
vengeance
like-
against whoever killed her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, oh.
Such an off-putting energy.
An off-putting energy, and he's like trying to be so, like, he's trying to garner so much sympathy from Peter Gunn. He's like, I don't have a lot of money, I'm a trumpeter with a busted lip.
Oh, yeah.
Anything you can do, and I'm trying not to push my luck too much.
Chet Baker over here.
It's like when the murderer calls 911 and talks about how upset they are that the person has been murdered, and it's like so much
Yeah.
that you're like,
It's almost protesting too much.
yeah, no, it 100% is. And there's actually been studies done by very smart people who analyze this sort of thing, which is fascinating, that there's like a certain way that you talk about in the 911 call, like certain like little subtle things that you might not pick up on necessarily.
Yeah.
Like just the verb tense you use, or like very small words can help give a clue as to whether or not they're telling the truth. It's great. Anyway, I love that stuff. Not the, death part, but like the solving of it is very interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, so
he begins his investigation.
yep. And he immediately finds
Because she's changed one letter in her name.
she
She's
a singer.
She's a nightclub act, and she's like,
Well, no, he doesn't immediately find her.
okay,
happened in between that?
He goes to
Ask her-
his composer friend.
Okay.
The shade fest of the century.
the strangest performance I've ever seen in my life.
It was so over the top. This dude that plays, I don't remember the guy's name,
Who cares?
Oh, yeah.
but he's so over the top, and Peter Gunn is just like having none of it. He's like, oh God, do I really have to listen to you?
Yeah, can you please just give me the information?
He's like, well, I'm not going to write you an opera. And he's like, thank God, please don't ever do that.
I'll do that again.
Don't wish that.
Please don't.
But he inquires about the
Donna.
recently deceased. Dina
Yeah.
Wright, I believe.
Let's say yes.
It's like, this woman has been murdered. Like, what do you know of it? Like, have you heard anything? Like, this is your community. Like, the husband is a musician. She's a singer. Like,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, I'll give you an address. So he...
Like you do. Gosh,
know.
everyone just operates in this very shady way. I love it.
And he goes there expecting to find a lead, but he finds Dina just across the river at this nightclub.
Donna
She's not
performing
dead.
Yeah.
under Donna Summers.
Yeah, she's changed.
Also R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's barely changed her name.
Yeah, which...
She sings beautifully.
She does.
She's absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
And
The smallest waist I've ever seen on a human being. It's like a triangle. Like, just... Like and it's so indicative of like what the 60s found attractive, of like how thin can your waist be? Everything else is whatever.
Yeah.
It's all about that inseam.
That is not what an inseam is. But okay.
It's okay. It's all about that waist. About that waist. Better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Now it's correct.
She sings beautifully.
Beautifully. They wait for her to stop, and then he's like, "Hey, so you changed one letter in your name."
Yeah, in the dressing room, drawer to the dressing room, and she's like, "Okay, give me 5. I gotta get changed." And so he goes to the bar.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Man, wonder where she went." I was like, "You idiot."
Yeah.
He's truly
like,
stupid.
Called, yeah.
And the bartender's like, you done goofed.
Yeah, because she obviously was like, "Oh, you found me out. Goodbye."
She went through the window. Like, are you kidding me? Peter Gunn, more like Peter Dumb. Am I right?
Oh,
Sick
dunked on him.
burn. But he finds her and catches up to her, and that is when he grabs her arm.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
Because he gets another address from the bartender.
From the bartender, who is also the club owner.
Yes.
That's Monty.
Beautiful performance.
Really wonderful. And, like, he gives, like, this really wonderful kind of, not monologue, but they have, like, this wonderful dialogue back and forth where, like, you really see that, like, this man, like, wants to protect this woman.
Yeah. And so he goes to her apartment. Mm-hmm. And that is where, yes, he goes.
She's crawling out of the fire escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes, the door is, like, not wide open, but it's open.
Yeah.
She's making a run for it.
She's, like, they're both running up the stairs. He catches her and goes, what happened?
Yeah.
And she's like, my husband's trying to murder me.
Yeah.
So she tells this whole story. He's a jealous type, wants to murder her for some reason. Oh, because he murdered someone, went to prison because he got so jealous because someone was hitting on her, and he blames her for him going to prison.
And it's a really, really good way that men have looked at have engaged in the treatment of women. It's a really good. It's one of those things.
Great exploration into toxic masculinity and societal expectations of men. So
he sent some nasty notes from prison, and then she found out that he was getting released and was like, "I need to get the heck up out of Dodge."
Yeah, and she goes to some a
booker,
and the booker's like, she says he's complaining that his cousin died, which is like, oh, now I have to deal with a dead cousin. Oh, such a schlep to get to the funeral. And she's like, okay, how about this? It's me in the box. What's in the box? Me. I'm dead. Pretend it's me. I'm gonna fake my own death. And he's like, yeah, that sounds fine.
And then she does the worst job at faking her own death
by changing her one name. And he's like, what, the singing engagement? And she's like, it was only for a week. I need money.
Yeah. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
She just didn't hide very well. And she's like, what were you going to do after? And she's like, don't know.
It's like, yeah, I was going to make money and run away. Like,
for the rest of your life.
That was the whole plan. That was 100% of the plan.
And he goes, for the rest of your life, you can't do it. Come on, let's get you out of here. And Christina said something very funny. It's like, now we gotta go down all these gosh darn steps. Why'd you do this? It's very funny.
That is very
just
funny.
like the scene, like they cut to them coming, into the apartment pretty quickly after. But like you don't see them go down those 6 flights of the fire escape. Like, what conversation's there? Say how you been? Like, anyway, so they go to the apartment. And there's a gunman.
Well, they get shot at while they're on the fire escape, and that's why they go back down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why there's the giant bullet hole in the window when they come back downstairs.
Well, no, I thought they were already about to get in the apartment.
No, someone shoots at them. They freak out. He runs down. She runs after him, and then they see the gunman trying to escape out of the apartment. He falls down the stairs.
Boom.
And presumably breaks his neck.
No,
oh, that's right.
Peter Gunn shoots him dead. He pulls out his
Derringer.
No, he pulls out his Derringer through the window because I was like, oh, he's got a Derringer, and he shoots
Can you remember all this? But
he shoots the intruder dead because later he and the police chief.
Oh yes, you're right.
Have that conversation of like, well, you're gonna have to contest this in court that it was self-defense.
Yeah.
Good luck. And he's like, I think I can handle myself. Which is the next scene, right?
Right, because he asked her while they're on the steps. She was like, "Have you ever seen this man?" She's like, "No, I've never." Mm-hmm. And then in the next scene, what you said has transpired, and they assume that it was this cheap hired gunman. Mm-hmm. And Peter Gunn assumes that the husband was the one that hired this man to go kill Dina Donna.
Thought you didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Man.
You can't pay the... and she does say, back on the fire escape, rewind, that he probably hired her... her husband hired Peter Gunn to find her.
Yes.
Not to solve the murder.
Yes.
Figured that he would easily find her, which, well, yep, turns out. Mm-hmm. Yes, indeed. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I just wanted to go back for that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
And so they kind of collaborate on this next part, on this next plan that Peter Gunn has to just wrap everything up, which we kind of just cut to him back at the nightclub, right? No, we have this conversation with his wife, I assume.
Yes.
And his wife is like, this seems risky, please don't do it. He's like, I'm going to do it anyway, sweetheart. He does not sound that way, by the way.
He might as well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he goes to the nightclub, and there's a really funny moment of him getting handed a cup of coffee from a waiter. And he's like, excuse me, waiter, can you not put your thumb in my coffee? And then it pans up, and it's the chief inspector or whomever. And Christina didn't notice, and he's like, why? Oh, because he's just wearing a false mustache. Yeah. It's very comical. And then he walks over to the owner and is like nodding at the owner, and then walks over to another guy, nods at him, and then sorry, the reason I get really into this funniest thing I've ever seen is a food cart comes by with one of those dishes that has a cover, and he pats gently into it a gun.
Oh yes,
yeah. Like, shh, baby, get in there. Shh, it's okay. Like so strange. All the while, she's Dina Donna is singing Yabba Dabba Doo.
Well, because the plan is, and perhaps we should take a break here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plan is ... Bum,
bum, ba-dum. Hello, everybody. This is Tristan Miller, the Saucy Sleuth. Thanks for listening, number one. You're great. For specifically this one-off, we're not talking about Poirot this time. I appreciate you making it at least this far. We're on the Scavengers Network. You can go to scavengersnetwork.com and check out all the content there. They have great podcasts like Spooky Spouses, Historical Hotties, on which both Melissa and I have been a guest. Also, Wet Hot American Moon Juice, which is a NaNoWriMo podcast, National Novel Writing Month. So if you're into that idea, now is the time. It is November. Also, you can go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod and support us there. Get a free audiobook on us. Look up some murder mysteries. Look up some comedy albums. Look up whatever you want there. It's on us. Also, we have a new Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/ADCpod, where you can donate and get tiers of exclusive episodes, bonus content, business ads. Also, at a certain level, you get to pick the media we review for the bonus episodes. And also, we have merch that we'll send you if you give us enough support. We're trying to be able to start producing this show weekly, and the Patreon is definitely part of that, because Melissa, Tyler, and I all have very busy lives, and so we're trying to get that going as best as we can and give you content that is of high quality and that you deserve. All right, enough from me. Let's get back to this very fine episode of Amateur Detective Club.
We're back.
You got me, I was like. Tyler's that good of an actor.
So the plan is, because they were having trouble locating the husband, because he was not at the place that he told Peter Gunn where he would be or how to like get in contact with him.
Right.
So instead of seeking him out, they were going to make sure that he comes to them.
Yeah.
So they advertise Dina Wright. Yeah, we're going by her real name now.
Ooh.
Dina Wright is advertised to sing at Monty's, hoping to lure the husband Arnie.
Yeah.
Her husband Arnie to the nightclub.
Dina and Arnie.
He couldn't figure out that she had changed her name by one letter.
I mean, he's been preoccupied. He's been in prison for 2
He
years.
has a busted lip.
Yeah, he's going
The
through
real
it.
only thing he cares about is getting his wife killed.
So he does show up, and there's this very like.
And she's singing like this beautiful song.
Oh yeah, the
Absolutely
contrast.
gorgeous.
And there's this beautiful like cut to everyone looking around, very Good, Bad, and the Ugly, or like that moment in Return of the Jedi.
Yes, and there's this beautiful shot like from the spot person.
Yeah.
The person operating the spotlight.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's beautifully shot.
Yeah.
Half of this episode is an excuse to hear her sing.
Yes. And
that's fine.
yeah, absolutely. And then he shows up, the husband, and then they let her finish her song.
Mm-hmm.
Very politely.
As they always do. And then he starts to pull a gun and then immediately gets shot.
Yeah. She starts to leave the stage. She
leaves the stage. You're the man now, dog.
She sees him,
By
screams, and then
By the
everyone's
seashore.
It's like every movie of that time. Anytime a woman
God.
screams.
Oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Yeah, she screams. He gets shot, falls down. They go over, they pick him up, and he's like, we figured it out. You thought you could get away with it too. And he immediately seems to have recovered from the bullet wound.
Can I just say something controversial?
Sure.
And you can choose to leave it in or take it out.
I
That's how you shoot black people, police. All right? Not to kill, to wound.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there is a situation.
Knee
You don't
caps.
aim at,
Center
Yes.
mass.
Yeah.
No.
And in fact, there are probably many situations where you don't have to shoot them at all.
Yeah. This was the situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they didn't kill him.
Yeah, they didn't kill him.
Yeah, he was actively trying to kill someone, and they managed not to kill him.
And this was the 60s when racism was acceptable. Somewhat.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like racism as much as it is.
Call back to a future episode. You'll get that in your feed next time.
Don't you love it when we do callbacks for episodes?
It's so strange. Podcasting is weird. It's a time capsule, folks.
Yeah.
Time is a construct, and the construct is a capsule. But yeah, and the actor just immediately drops any sort of like being in pain whatsoever. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
And then they bring him into the police car. Can I tell you? Something I noticed was the inside. You know how normally in a car, the handle to open the door from the inside is horizontal rather than vertical.
Yeah, in most cars.
In most cars, but in this car, it was vertical. It was like it looked like a fridge door thing. It was fascinating,
Okay.
and I want to know when the switch happened.
Well, because I think this was a period where they had the suicide doors.
Can you refresh my memory?
So the doors that don't open... Oh, God, this is going to be terrible for people listening.
This is super good content, guys.
The door...
Just two dudes talking about cars, Melissa.
Yeah.
So rare on this.
I don't know how to explain this, like, verbally.
Oh, they opened not from the front of the car, but from the back of the car, closer to the boot. Sorry, the trunk.
Yeah, no, I was picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, the hinge is by the boot instead of towards the middle.
Precisely. Yeah, which is pretty whack. But anyway, they stuff him in this police car.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm back.
You were just like, astral projecting on Twitter. You had moved on.
I was actually checking my Instagram notifications.
All right, just guys being dudes.
No, sometimes cars are.
No.
Sometimes cars are interesting.
Just not when we talk.
That moment was not one of them.
Okay, but it was just interesting to me because I was like, when did the switch happen? But
that's fair.
And then his wife, Peter Gunn's wife, shows up and is like, "Thank God you're okay."
Yeah.
And they walk off arm in arm, and the episode is over.
And to wrap up the murder at the beginning of the episode.
Oh yeah, what was that? Since I didn't think it was connected.
That was Arnie murdering the booker that helped arrange the fake funeral.
Yeah, because that's also one
that
of
is
the leads,
revealed.
Yeah, during that conversation with the police.
Okay.
Man.
Yeah, I definitely spaced out on that one.
So what'd you think? What did you all think about this?
I had a lot of fun with this, but I'm super biased because I just love Diane Carroll's voice so much, and just getting to hear her sing not one but two songs in the span of a 25-minute episode. And then let her sing full.
That's a third of
songs.
the episode.
Yeah.
That's like 6 minutes.
Yeah, it's great.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So we're doing out of 5 right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's a TV.
I would. This is tough. 3.75 because the mystery was really easy to solve.
Oh, sure.
So that's why it doesn't get as that's why it's not getting a higher score, because I do have to think about it as a piece of mystery media.
Sure.
And in that way,
Yeah.
a 3.75. But in terms of just me just having a great time, a 4.75 out of 5.
Mystery media. That is the simplest way to talk about what we talk
That's-
about. Thank goodness.
that's
someone
what I
finally
say.
Figured it out.
That's what I say. It's a podcast about murder mystery media.
I don't know. It sounds better when Tyler says it.
I'm sorry.
I say mystery media all the time. That's on our. I believe it's in our Twitter. I don't know. Whatever, man.
Anyway, we'll talk about marketing later.
I tried so hard the brand. What'd you think, Melissa?
Tristan, you do a great job. I give you a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. I wasn't trying to dunk on you. I really wasn't.
It's fine.
Okay, but the episode, it's an absolute delight, and I will give it the full 4 points for just being a joy to watch, because that's a big part of how I evaluate things. Did I like it? Yeah. How much did I like it? A lot. Did I like it the most out of everything I've ever seen in my life? No. It's a 4. There we go.
4.90.
Ooh.
Almost like the only that point that 10 is the margin of like what you said. It's not my favorite thing I've ever seen, but it's my favorite thing I've seen in the last probably 6 months. I loved it. It was so fun, so corny. I might just start watching the show in and of itself. Yeah. It was wonderful. It slaps so hard, that theme.
Yeah.
I should have managed to a full 4.
Yeah, like, it's great. The mystery, like, I don't care. Like, it was so, like, it was, whatever. It was pretty obvious. And it was really fun to see this detective being very bad at his job. It was very amusing. I enjoyed it a lot. And maybe it's because I just finished the book we were reading as well. And so it was just such a breath, fresh air. Full Terry Gross. Just wonderful, wonderful episode. End of thought, end of sentence.
Nice.
End of episode.
I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to a close. Follow us on Twitter at ADCPod or our Facebook, either the group or the page, Amateur Detective Club. And be sure to check out our Patreon.
We also I got a Zazzle store. So if you want mugs and pins with the artwork, or some t-shirts with the with a quote or two from the show, go there, munch it up with your eyes.
The holidays are coming. Give it some zazz.
Zazzle.
Zazzle beats.
We out.